Welcome to the Council of Moms. I love it. Are having a hard time getting started because we just want to talk to each other, which is actually the real true spirit of Council of Moms. Because in sharing, we have learned that sharing is caring.
So true.
Isn't it though?
It's so true.
But
Absolutely.
it's the way that we process information, get great ideas, and help raise families, which is changing the world. And I stand by that.
Definitely.
So thank you for being here.
Go,
I
Lisa.
love this.
Our pleasure.
And I am really excited about our Council of Moms. And I just, before we get started, want to encourage you, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts, that you engage in the conversation, because the whole purpose of the Council of Moms is to have real connection and not just having, experts and influencers tell you what to do or how to do it, but to really connect with you, have real people who are raising children or who have, or in every facet of socioeconomic, races, gender, all of these things. We're raising different kinds of kids, and we want to share our ideas together to inspire each other in motherhood. So this is the Council of Moms. Boy, I just felt like I was saying my anthem. I really believe in the Council of Moms, but I do. So
critical.
Please engage in the conversation in the comments, on social media. We'd love to hear from you, because it doesn't really make it complete unless we're all connecting. It doesn't work. But here today, working, doing it, getting it done on the Council of Moms. My name is Lisa Valentine Clark. I'm the mother of 5. I always say I'm raising 5 very different children who are actually now, 2 teenagers and 3 baby adults. So various levels of development, but all really, really fun. And I find myself in a transition part of parenting. People are kind of going to school or finishing school and just kind of starting their careers. And so I feel like it's a transition part of parenting. So that's my situation. But let's see who else we have here. We also have
Allison Dayton. And I have 3 grown kids, and one of them is married, and I have a grandchild now.
You're so lucky.
So lucky.
Which is heaven. It really is all the things that they say it is.
really
and
is,
even
isn't
a
it?
little bit
It's
more.
even better than just being a mom.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
Yeah.
for sure. Because you know what? You're so good at it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
before you were just
Naturally.
faking it and
Yeah.
trying to figure it out. But now I've got it. And it's like, yeah, she'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
It's so good. It's so much fun. And it takes away a little bit of the sting of raising adult children.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little treat for that.
I like it.
So
I love it. I'm Teniesha Williams. I am a widowed mom of one beautiful, she's going to be 10 next week. 10 next week, and I have 2 baby adult stepchildren who I love and adore, and we are all gingers.
Oh, really?
We're all gingers.
so's the fun,
We're
baby.
keeping the race alive, guys. We got
Do
it.
it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I heard that, naturally occurring gingers
It's a
are
thing.
rare.
So my
Very.
granddaughter is a ginger.
Really?
Yeah, we couldn't be more happy.
part of the club.
I
How
know.
exciting.
Well, my husband
sending
was
her
a
to you.
ginger, and so ginger. I'm a ginger. He was a ginger, and we had 0.01%, or so on and on and on and on for her to not be a ginger, right? And he had blue eyes, I had blue eyes, so we were dominantly recessive. Dominantly. Neither of my parents have red hair. Neither of his parents had red hair.
Really?
Really?
I think we just made an agreement in heaven that we were going to go down with full force.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
We're different,
recessive. Yeah,
and we're
so
here.
I would tease him sometimes and say, if she comes up brunette, what would you do? What would you do?
Yeah. Then
Yeah,
what?
it would have been really cool, but alas.
There's always hair dye.
Yeah, right. Alas,
Infant.
she was a ginger. So,
That's great.
That's funny.
I'm Carrie Ann Rhodes, and I'm an older mom I have 2 kids, and we're in the thick of it. We're in the sports and the school and we're still in elementary school, and we're having the time of our life.
Good.
But puberty's on its way.
That's on the top of your
feel
mind.
that. I feel that, yeah.
Brace
Even
yourself.
with just 10-year-olds. How do you already feel that in a 10-year-old?
You
'Cause
feel all
it
the.
starts
I think.
then. It for sure
Don't
starts.
you always anticipate the next phase? Yeah. And I think one of the challenges of motherhood is just enjoying the moment that you're in right now, knowing
This is
Anything
the deep
could
breath
come
moment
next.
right
Right.
now. Like,
Well, but you can feel it coming.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in the small little sass that comes, the more
might be
need
the
for
sass.
deodorant.
They're
oh yeah,
coming.
you can
Yeah.
smell it coming
Yes,
as well. The,
it's-
the pimples.
And they don't get it.
Yeah,
They
they're
don't.
clueless.
It's not
Plus,
right.
I love it. Our official question, although it may go
talk
into
about
puberty
hygiene.
because why not? Don't tell us what to do. Is how do I help my kids follow their passions?
It's a good
This is a
question.
good
That
one.
is a good question. Don't you think that there are a couple of kinds of parents of hey, this is what we do. We do this and then we do that. And it's usually like, we go to college and we get a job and we make sure we have health insurance and a 9 to 5 or whatever. I don't know. There's that. And it was easier to do in past generations. And then there's I don't know, you could do anything you want and everything is open. I pretend like I'm the second one, but sometimes I'm like, no, but make sure you have a 401k. You know what I mean? But follow your passions.
Right.
Well,
What does that mean?
Follow
you
your
can afford it.
passions when you're 10 and follow your passions when you're 25.
Right.
That's
we
two different
we
things.
switch
Totally
it because when they're
different.
little, you could be anything.
Yes,
you could
you
be
can be whatever you
anything. And when they
want.
get to high school, we're like,
Don't do
yeah,
that.
but also have you thought about electrical engineering? You know what I mean? Like, we're not throwing around electrical engineering when they're in the grade school, but we are. I find myself saying that a lot. Or you could go into computer science. I mean, IT is really fascinating. I mean, yeah. You want to be an illustrator. Cool. Yeah, you want to be a musician. Great. Oh, creative.
Awesome.
Wonderful. But also,
That's a great
Thought
hobby.
about-
Totally.
Well, I think sometimes I've found myself, my daughter's taken a completely different approach than I ever was. I love dance out of the womb, I was going to sleep in my dad's arms to Donna Summer. And, that's
Lucky.
how I fell asleep. And I danced from there on out. And so I kind of just thought, that's probably what my kid will do, right? And it has not went that way at all. And what I find myself doing is like, I'm open to her doing whatever she wants to do, but I don't know how to involve her because I wasn't in it.
oh, interesting.
So it's like,
how do you do that?
oh crap, I know how to sign up for dance and theater. She does like theater and acting, so that's great. But basketball, I don't know.
Yeah, but what if that's their passion? That's the thing.
Exactly.
You have to be so open to
Exactly.
it.
Well, I had a friend whose daughter, I remember when her daughter was little, we were neighbors and she was in like a little 3-4-year-old dance recital and it was cute and whatever. And then she stopped. She's like, I don't want to do dance anymore. And then she got to high school and the daughter turned on her mother and said, why didn't you make me take dance? Because now all of her friends were doing drill team
gosh,
and
right?
cheer and theater.
Yep.
And she was like,
It's
and
a
she,
trap.
It's
It
a
is
trap.
a
It's a trap, and no mom ever escapes it.
No.
It's true though.
You lose
'Cause
no
it's the
matter
same-
what.
Why didn't you?
You force them to take piano lessons
Right.
forever, and they hate you for
And they
it.
resent
And
you.
then if you say, "Oh, you don't like it," okay, and then it's, "Why didn't you?
Why didn't
Why didn't you
make
make me
me
keep
go?"
going? Because you were miserable.
Yeah,
And we
because
had
I
lots
didn't
of
want to
fight.
drive you
Yeah.
clear
Such a
across
dilemma.
town.
And you
not
didn't
worth
practice
the
anyway.
fight. They have no idea how not worth the fight it is
Yeah.
to make them practice or make them the fight of just going. Like,
I'm really impressed with moms who can get their kids to concert pianists. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
that is some
How did they do
hardcore
it?
momming.
Do you know, even my late husband, he studied to be a concert pianist
Really?
until he was like 15. Like it was
It's
like
the
he was
15.
on the path, and then he quit because he wanted to date girls and try out for student council.
my
And he
goodness.
said
So
my
cute.
piano teacher cried and begged me not to,
and you're,
and he did.
yeah.
He quit.
Because that's
'Cause
all he
15.
knew. He
Because he
wanted
was
something
he
different.
knew
And
what
girls.
he was like, I have to like play 4 hours a day to be
Yeah.
a con.
Yeah.
But like also what would have happened? I mean, whatever.
Yeah. And they're falling in love and all this stuff.
Right.
And all
There's
of
a
that
balanced life. And so there's this, okay, so that's a really good point that you just brought up though.
Yeah.
Is sometimes we think their passion has to be their career
Right.
or it has to be, we specialize
Yes.
in everything.
Right. And having
Like away sports.
Yeah.
right and having like a good like hobby or passion other than your work
Is
so
It's
so important.
Yeah, it's so
Like,
important.
yeah. I
My
mean,
So what do
husband
you think that
struggles
means
with
then
not
to help
having a
your
hobby as an
kid
adult.
follow their passion? Is it always their career or, I mean, should it be related? Like, what's your theory on that?
My parents did a good job with they did a good job. They have 7 kids, and my mom and dad were products of the 60s, and so they were a tiny bit more like enlightened about
Yeah.
following passions and be, what you want to be rather than like you have to do what my dad does or,
Right.
whatever. And they were really good about like simply having things be available. Like both my parents are actually pretty creative, but my mom was an actual like art major. And so she was thrilled that she had kids that wanted to draw or wanted to explore. So there were always, drawing implements in the house. And then I really enjoyed drawing. And so when my dad's company was changing offices and they were selling drafting desks, they bought me a drafting desk
How cool.
that I got
Really
to have in
cool.
my room, and they bought me like professional pens. And what it told me from them was that they valued what I was interested in. And I mean, I didn't get an expectation from them or the feeling that they thought I was like some kind of prodigy. You know what I mean? Like that was not the
Right.
feeling. It was
So that
simply
pressure.
right. It was just simply
the
like,
pressure.
here, you can do this. And with 7 kids, there wasn't a whole lot of money like for everyone to do sports and music and
Right.
whatever. But so that, they tried to, they did what they could. And so I've just kind of followed that philosophy too of like have stuff in the house that they can do that kind of combats the I'm bored or whatever, like figure it out. However, now that
okay.
now that I actually have the kids,
Yes. Go on.
I do have a son who plays club sports.
Yeah.
He plays club soccer.
It's so intense.
Oh, so intense.
I never really had
Soccer
somebody that was
sports in general
super
are
into
just
sports
intense.
ball.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like my husband is way supportive. If I didn't have my husband, like would this kid even be playing soccer? And like it costs a lot of money. And my
time.
daughter is not interested in sports or dance or any of that. And so what we're struggling with is like, what are we doing to like spend time with her, encourage her to do this? Like it's a whole new thing once it actually like arrived on my doorstep.
Oh yeah, my
Right.
husband was one of 9 children. He was he was the only one that was quote unquote like creative.
Really?
Well, yeah, because they were all like into hunting and fishing and football. One of his brothers lettered in 3 sports. His other brother became a football coach. Do you know what I'm saying? And
And he played the piano.
he played the piano and ended up being an actor.
Yeah.
And so he was just like, I just figured I was on my own. But like his mom, they went to movies together and plays, and she put him in like plays and stuff like that when he was younger and after school kind of stuff. But he always used to say, like, I found it because I loved it. Like no one could keep me from it.
Right.
Like just because it
love
wasn't
that.
like the family culture, I would do it. And to their credit, his parents were like, that's great.
Yeah.
Just do that. Yeah,
Well, and
great.
if that's
Yeah,
the
that is
I mean, that's
amazing.
that is the passion, right? Like
I know.
I
That's
cannot be-
passion.
I can't be pulled away from this.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love
And
that.
I think you have to. I think it's hard, like you said, when you're so, I'm creative. I was a jewelry designer, and I love to paint. So I have all that stuff around, but my kids really aren't into that. One of them is. My youngest is into politics, and not my politics.
No.
Oh, wow.
So-
What is that like?
Wow.
There's a topic.
How do you follow that passion?
Right,
Mom?
right. And how do you get excited when they're, it's like you just have to do it. Like
Yeah.
this is
You
their
do.
passion. I'm not going to change his mind. I want him to do something that makes him that gets him go buzzing. I mean, like when you're doing something that just love, and he does. So I say, yay, this is awesome. Yes. Go intern with that senator. It's awesome. Go do it. You're going to be amazing.
I feel the intensity right here.
It's so
I
hard.
do.
And I don't want to break that in him. Nor do I
No.
want to break
mom.
us. Well,
That's hard.
No,
I'm
that's
learning,
great.
but it's
Yep.
there's passions that you just don't understand sometimes. And I wasn't a dancer. Like I did
I know, I
voice.
wish I
did
was.
voice sports. Yeah.
You know what though? I felt so much
But I can
pressure.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Did you?
It's
Well, and the
amazing.
thing is this is where I've started to really like our kids teach us, I think, so much more than we teach them a lot of the
Agreed.
time. And my daughter has taught me so much in this whole scenario because
Really?
I love dancing. I loved it my entire life, but it started to become what defined my importance,
Yeah.
like how much I was involved in it, what kinds of things, what clubs I was involved in, what I did, when I did it. And I was tired by the time, like later in high school, my early adult years,
Little
I was
burned
like,
out.
Yeah.
I just dreamed of being able to go to school, go home, do homework, and watch TV. That's like all I wanted to
Wow.
do.
Yeah.
But I was so pulled towards that need that it wasn't until I lost my husband that I realized what an important tool it was because of the passion that was behind it.
Yeah.
Because it brought me confidence, joy, and it released negative emotions. Right. And so that's what I desire for my daughter to find now is something that gives her the ability to release negative and make room for positive. I call it R&Rs, release and rebuild.
Oh, that's
love
so
that.
great. I told my
love
kids,
that.
like,
Fantastic.
who knows what will happen to you in the future, but everyone needs a creative outlet.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not the same thing as a passion, but I do feel that sometimes we use them sort of interchangeably. And we
Right.
always just assume someone's passion is like painting, dancing, sports,
Something
piano, or something
overtly
overtly
creative.
creative, where your passion could be helping people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I'm being totally serious.
Absolutely.
Your passion could be, social impact. Your passion could be just being able to have a certain like lifestyle,
Yeah.
like where you can create a little homestead and like, I mean, our passions can. I
They're
think
all
if we
over.
expand our idea of passion, it takes the
Yes.
pressure off our
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
And if we
Yes.
let them lead.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think sometimes our kids get into things and then we're like, oh, yeah, all in. We're like shoving you all into this thing. And you are going to
Like
do
club
ODP soccer. And you are. And I look at it and I think,
But
whoa, dude, what?
But it's hard.
It's hard.
Because
And
I totally agree with you, but I just spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars completing a drum set because my daughter
Oh, my
was
goodness.
wanted to play the drums,
So
and this is her
much.
passion, and she doesn't practice, and she's not taking lessons, and I'm
Yeah.
looking at, I'm like, I just could have spent that money on
Yeah.
something else.
we,
And
yeah.
so, it, like,
we
I
have
mean,
bagpipes at our house that are sitting there.
is that just,
It would be so
is
cool
that
if they
just
played it.
the price
right?
of motherhood?
I
Do you
think- I
just
think
have
it's-
to like have a sunk cost?
Yeah.
Of, like,
Yes, I think as parents we need to accept that like what I'm so impressed, Teniesha, is that her passion with dance like really created resilience. Like any
Yeah.
passion can do that, where you learn like
Yeah.
work ethic and like you learned a lot of character. Like
Right.
it was physically difficult. And then you spend hundreds of dollars with the
A
drums.
drum set.
I do think parents sometimes have to just be like, okay.
Let it go.
And,
And give
we
it to a
know-
nice kid in the neighborhood.
I was just gonna say, give somebody a ripping deal.
I mean, there's somebody that
who's
really
like,
is-
yeah,
has
got
a
it.
passion for drums.
Yes.
There is a kid that has a passion for drums somewhere.
Except that your
someone
child
waiting
is
for
not a
those.
prodigy, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Right.
It's not always. Sometimes it is. It's not always a waste of money to be pouring into those passions because they're developing something. Hopefully, that's
Hopefully
Well,
it's-
and you bring up the idea of like a prodigy. We have this idea, and I think this puts unnecessary stress on kids, that if you don't learn it or do it when you're young, then it doesn't count.
right.
And it's just so ridiculous because I'm on the other side of 18, and I know
Just a little bit.
further and further every day, but. I'm still discovering like things of like what I'm passionate about, or like I still, even if I don't do it as like a profession and that kind of stuff. But I
Yeah.
do think that our culture, we have this weird idea of like even what that word passion means and what it should mean to your everyday life.
Yeah.
Well, and
looks
it's
like.
it's sort of a little bit self-care, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
painting for me is self-care, and I haven't done it for
Absolutely.
years, but I want to
Same.
soon.
too.
But like learning, like supporting your child's passion allows them to then later in their life support their own passion,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which you sometimes feel guilty for. Like,
Yeah.
whether you're into woodworking or bird watching or whatever, like I think it's a good thing to be able to kind of take care of yourself in that.
Do you think it's a good thing to encourage your kids to have their profession be their passion?
I mean, if you
If
can
they
do
can.
that, I
Good
think you're
question.
really lucky.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
I think what's that? Find something you love doing and you'll never
You
work a
don't
day
work
in your
a day in your
life.
life, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that idea is terrific.
Do you think it's
That's
true?
I think so.
I love what I do, but it's work.
I love what I do, and you still have to get up and go to work when
Yeah.
you don't
when
want
you would
to.
rather not.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like my brother is like a
Yeah.
rock star. He's a little rock. Like everyone would say, of course, and he would never complain about his job. But there are some things that he has to do like any other
Sure,
job
doesn't want to, doesn't
where
yeah.
you have to, it's a job.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
does he? And I'm sure he
Right?
has like something outside of
He
playing
does.
music that
Well,
he
that's
loves.
100% that
Once
he's more
you're-
obsessed with.
Right.
And it's pickleball. Sorry, James.
Oh,
But yeah.
But once when I was doing jewelry, it started to be a business.
Right.
And then
And it
I lost
changes.
the creative part of it and started painting because I didn't have.
So you shifted.
Yeah,
I think
because
you
that
have
was
to
a
have both,
business,
right?
Yeah. So I went into
Yeah.
that next phase of like I need something that feeds me.
See, that makes
versus something
a
that
lot
I'm
of
making
sense
money
to me.
with.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
those are two totally different things.
That's difficult because I'm an artist by education and whatnot and passion, but I felt a lot of pressure to monetize my art, like that if I'm going to waste, I mean, see, I even said
I
like
know.
waste
Waste
this
time.
time and money on doing something that I've got to get some kind of return.
Right.
And like 4 years ago, I started ceramics and I am so bad at it. There's no way
I love it.
I can monetize this.
cool.
But what I'm gaining from it is so much more than simply like a way to make money. But it's been hard. It's been a real mental challenge to pull back from the idea that your passion has to be your job or your passion
Well,
has to be
because what
your-
else are we teaching our kids, though, to follow their passions? We're also teaching them, like you were saying, like that time, how we talk about it. It's not a waste of time to have a hobby. It's not a waste of time if you
Right.
don't monetize it. Like that will help them.
or if you're not the best in the world
Yeah.
at it.
Right.
I always tell
What
my kids
were
I'm
yours?
such a mediocre piano player, so mediocre. And it takes me forever to learn a song, but I love it. And I find value in it and stress release and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
And I say those things out loud because I hope it will give them permission to pick up things that they're not instantly
Yes.
good at.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Or not good at after 40 years
40
of
years.
playing.
Yeah. Well, what were your two R's?
Release and rebuild.
Release and rebuild. Like that's such a good way of saying it. Like you're just and that's what creative
exactly what it does for
pursuits
me.
are.
Well, and I feel like when we talk about passions or hobbies or things that we like to do, can we actually connect to the emotional component that's there? Like mental and emotional health, it actually gives us that. And it's a tool we're the only ones who can utilize that tool, right? And so often we look outside of us to see what it is that we can pull in for reassurance or faith and hope and obviously, I mean, I love God and connect with him as much as possible, but he's also given me the gift to love to dance, to love to go out on a hike. I had a client once that just likes to do math for fun. I thought she was crazy.
Oh my.
But there's that, right? Where does it emotionally and mentally
that.
connect with you?
Yeah.
It rebuilds you. And if my daughter can find that, that's what I want for her. Because
Oh, and I like that idea that your passion is the way that you give back to other people. That it's a way that you show up in the world. It's the way, like, it's not just like this thing I do.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like that it has a
Right.
purpose that's like outside of yourself. I do love that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're coming to the end of our time, which it always goes by so quickly.
Oh, how did that happen?
I know,
was
isn't that
fast.
weird? So I would love to give everybody a chance for sort of a final word on like just leading your kids through or to their passions in life and how you encourage that, whether it's like your last piece of advice or the most important thing that you've learned or what you're passionate about. Final words?
I'll reiterate.
Yeah.
As a mom, I'm simply and dad. We're doing this together, but we're simply trying to make it available. And I hope I don't spend hundreds of dollars on bagpipes or drums.
Totally will.
You will.
But there's been hundreds of dollars of soccer that we're
what
never
I'm
going to
saying.
get back. But he's had the second it becomes not fun, we'll stop, and we're okay with that.
Yeah.
Make it available.
Make it available. I love it.
I think for me, it's like I said, like I feel like I'm the one who's learning like how to step into allowing her to enjoy the journey of finding what it is that she is going to be passionate about. And I've been really self-conscious, like not wanting to put any of the pressure on her that I knew I felt even inside of my own passion, you know, and allowing her to just, and she is such a free spirit, but I want her to enjoy the process of finding it, enjoy the process, and do my best to just not feel that angst inside. I'm like, I don't know how the heck to sign you up for that, but I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Protect her from
You're going to find another mom that
Yeah.
knows how to do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think passions are important for kids, because it individualizes them. So, when they're little, everybody does soccer or plays lacrosse or dances, right?
Yeah.
So then when they get older and they want to do something like bagpipes, then you think, cool, like that's your own. That's not what everybody's doing. And they, I love that idea of just letting them kind of go with the idea. Now, whether or not the bagpipes,
maybe your
he'll
kid
play at my
playing
funeral.
the bagpipe and my kid playing the ocarina, which is,
What is
yeah. When you were saying unusual instruments, like it does help them stick out. I love that point.
They get to be who they are, and they get to be themselves. And I think that is awesome too. That, if that makes their life hum and makes them, gives them energy, awesome.
I love that.
And helps them. So as they, because they're looking at what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I have to do that. But at some point, they're going to be like, no, I want this. Yeah.
I think my final advice is that there are some people who walk around not passionate about anything.
I feel
And if I'm going to err on the side, I will be passionate about too many things.
Everything.
Jane of all trades.
I'll take your passion. I'll do it.
Right?
Yeah.
And if we don't teach our kids to get really excited and try new things, even if it comes at a personal financial cost,
Hopefully
which is
one
a
day to
privilege
them.
I get, like to be able to
I
do
know.
100%.
Grateful.
But there's lots of ways that we can encourage them to do it. But it's a kind of actually, I think, a fun way to parent by following different passions.
Absolutely.
And trying
And
that
making
out.
it a journey. I'm
To
taking that
not
with
forget
me.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taking that with me today.
And making it part of the family culture.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that we all do these fun different things.
And we're all still a piece of fruit on the tree.
Love this.
Delicious.
Well, I'm passionate about the Council of Moms. How do you like that? But I am. I'm passionate about connecting people together. So thank you for helping me do that today. This has been really great.
good.
And
It's been
I'd love to
fun.
know what you're
Lisa.
passionate about. Actually, you know what I'd really like to know is leave a comment in YouTube about the passion fails, like my drum set that you have had. Help me to not feel so alone. I want to know, what did you spend a lot of money or time on that didn't pan out?
perfect.
It'll just be a way for us to just keep going and
ceramics
not
still
take ourselves
happening.
too seriously.
I love
Thanks
to
for
take
watching the
ceramics.
Council of Moms.